But it's true that France, I just got the latest information about that. France is among the top 5 countries in the world. We are, if I remember, ranking 2nd or 3rd. Japan is ahead of France, but except this, France is one of the countries in the world where the life expectancy is the longest, with more than 82 years old as average lifetime. So that's quite remarkable. It's due to different factors. We have a very good health system in France, very well organized, with a very good coverage. Even for people being in pension, for instance. So that's one of the reasons. The second factor is well known from doctors all over the world. It's related to what they call the so-called French paradox. And French paradox is the fact that we eat quite a lot, but nevertheless, in terms of health diseases like heart diseases, France is quite well off for that. And the French paradox is that one of the reasons is that we drink a certain quantity of red wine per day, and 1 or 2 glasses of red wine per day protect your heart. Right. And that's a French paradox, that we have some wine and some food in quite big quantities, but all in all quite healthy, like in Greece or Italy. So that's good. And safety on the road plays also a big role. We took a lot of measures on this. I will come back on that later if you want. What I would say is that, first of all, you have very good roads in Korea compared to other Asian countries I have visited in my life before. The road network is of excellent quality. That's
the road structure is okay.
The road structure, the road quality itself, the signages on the roads, that's great. That's very fine. And also, what contributes also to safety on the road in Korea is certainly the level of the cars that you purchase. I mean, this is a very mature and advanced market with car population on the roads, which is quite recent, and very modern cars with all safety equipment like airbags and all the most modern braking systems. So that's the positive part. The negative part I see is that suddenly road safety awareness is still not as high as it is in Europe, as it is in the United States, and some simple measures apparently are still not being taken here. Let me give you just one example. I was very surprised discussing with the colleagues here that already for more than 3 or 4 decades in Europe, on the back of the trucks and on the back of the buses, you have speed limitation signages. For trucks you have 2, with full carriage and with empty carriage, and buses also with the bus with passengers or without, and those speed limitations are very stringent in Europe. And I don't see that, and I have noticed that on the streets of Seoul and the main cities in Korea, buses and trucks are really going too fast on the roads here. Second, what I see is that the speed limitation in cities has been reduced in Europe already some decades ago from 60 to 50, with a major impact on the number of accidents on the roads. In Korea, you are still at 60 apparently in the cities, and that's too fast. So, and certainly a lot of signages in vicinity of schools should be added. Speed bumpers, we have much more speed bumpers.
Many more.
Much more than you have in Korea's in the cities, especially close to hospitals, universities, schools, with very clear signages about you're approaching a school, you're approaching a very populous area. We have that kind of signages in Europe that I don't see so much. But as you said, my experience is quite limited here. Maybe I have to drive more around, but it's my first impression that you can still do a lot.
Is it true?
Mandatory course related to what? For safety? No, I will not say like this. What is clear is that in France, but I left France some years ago, here I could not check. What is clear is that in the kindergartens, you have systematically courses given usually by the police or by the city administration, one or the other, from time to time combined, creating on the playground of the school some road conditions, giving bicycles or tricycles, depending to the children in kindergartens, experiencing some dangerous situations on the road. And if you pass this, you get a diploma. I would not say, but as it is in all the schools, I would not say that it's compulsory as such, because everyone gets his or her diploma. But it has been for a very long time, because I'm 52 years old, and I remember the day I had this experience in my kindergarten in France. So it should have been in years like 1967, 1968. And when we got our diploma, we got a big glass of strawberry milk. And I always remember the award and the glass of strawberry milk that day. So it's already, it's already almost 5 decades ago. And we have that also now in elementary schools and also in colleges. You have a lot of trainings on that, and you have a lot of actions related to schools, safety in schools. Like for instance, you have in France, I think it's compulsory. I think it's compulsory. I'm not sure, but you see around all schools, kindergartens, elementary, secondary schools, you see those fences protecting the pedestrians from the road. Because in the past we had a lot of accidents that young children, the pupils, they push each other going out of the school, and then you have a bus coming or cars with a lot of accidents. So now the complete area is fenced. So when you go outside of the school, you have fence on all the sidewalks, so that even if you are pushed by your friends, you will not end up on the road. So you have this in Korea in some areas, but not that much.
Right,
It's my feeling. Other measure that you have probably in Korea, but I didn't check. You have for all primary and elementary school and kindergartens, you have policemen or people from the city administration making the traffic control. With some very visible life jackets, signs, and controlling the traffic. And this is in the morning, at lunchtime, at 2 p.m., because in France we have the lunch break, at 2 p.m. and at 4 or 5, each time the areas is protected by at least 1 or 2 persons stopping the cars, making the traffic control.
Really?
Yes. No. I have to tell you that in some areas, especially in big cities, where people think that the dangers are very big, some parents add some more measures that entering the long road, they will also be active in that. But what is, it seems compulsory, is to have police officers, the ones making the traffic control on the streets here, they have to come in front of those schools in the morning, lunchtime, afternoon, and at the end of the school day.
4 times a day?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they control. They have the life jacket, they have the signs, and they will stop the car. Even if the light might be red, for instance, but you see a lot of pupils going out of the school, they will make some traffic regulation and stop the cars and let the children go, which is very efficient. I can tell you a very dramatic accident which occurred in Indonesia, where one of our employee.
When was that?
It was 1 year ago in Indonesia. Was sick. He had paludism. It's a fever that you get in tropical countries, and you get medicine for that. You need to take medicine all your life.
Malaria.
Sorry?
Malaria?
That's the other name, yes,
Okay,
if you prefer the malaria, yes, exactly. And that day he didn't have his, he went out of pills, he didn't have pills. He came to the office in the morning, didn't feel well, and didn't get his medicine during the day, was supposed to get the medicine at home in the evening, and employees, colleagues said to him, you have to take a taxi today, don't drive home. And unfortunately, he did not listen to the people around him, and he took his car and fell asleep driving in the street of Jakarta. And unfortunately, he had a very severe accident, killing one pedestrian.
Wow.
So this is, I use that in Indonesia, saying when you see colleagues being in bad shape, being sick, etc., you have to inform immediately the management of the company, because that day I was in the office, but I was not informed, and inform the HR manager and HSEQ manager in order that we take care of those people. You cannot drive when you are sick like this. And he wanted to go back home and fell asleep. You see, so safety first. We have to do. I mean, so much education of bus drivers and control them. I don't know how much you control them in Korea. In Europe, you have very strict medical controls and check of the health and ability of the drivers. That's something extremely regular. Second, we have to check very regularly the buses themselves.
On a regular basis.
Yes, for sure. And you know, this is why I make no difference, frankly, between this campaign and the actions we have in our company. As said, going to our plant, did we check the maintenance of the bus? Did we check the health condition of the driver? Did we check all the licenses? Some of the actions were done already, but the systematic check of license, of health condition, and the good maintenance of the buses is key. If you add to that such equipment, then you will really reduce accidents in the big proportions. It's very essential. I will, and for making it shorter maybe, you can explain in Korean what happened in front of our plant some month ago. We had one near miss this summer. I took some actions, but the local authorities took actions, but in between a lethal accident, a fatal accident took place. You remember?
What kind of?
Okay, I will tell the story then.
Okay.
This summer, we went to the plant, and on the way to the plant, we had almost an accident with the truck going out of the road, going out of a plant.
Yeah, I remember.
And the road was here and the plant was here, and the truck went out like that, going in this direction, blocking our way. And we could avoid the accident. I said immediately to Mr. Yu, I'm surprised you don't remember, because it's a very important case. We have a near miss here, near miss case, and it's a very dangerous situation. We should speak with the local authorities in Ulsan for changing the traffic rules and system in this road. It's too dangerous that trucks cross the roads like that. And now Mr. Yu maybe remembers, so you can end up the story in Korean. Do you want to end up the story in Korean? It's better if you say, because you were in charge of HSC, what happened and what are the measures taken. You want to finish the story?
그래서 그 공장 앞에 삼거리가 있었는데요. 거기에서 이제 그 서로 교차하면서 속도를 줄이지 않고 거기 제한 속도가 설정되어 있지 않았는데
네.
속도 줄이지 않고 서로 이렇게 교차하면서 이제 사고가 날 뻔했거든요. 근데 그 사고가 날 뻔한 상황 이후에 진짜로 거기에서 이제
큰 사고가
그 충돌 사고로 인해서 그 운전자가 사망하는 사고가 있었어요. 그래서 그 뒤로 이제 지금 그 지점에 이제 그 신호등
네.
지금 설치 완료했습니다. 얼마 전에.
어.
예, 그래서 이제 사고를 방지하고 있는데
예, 예.
예, 실제 우리가 이제 그렇게 그 아차 사고 경험했던 게 그 불과 며칠 지나고 나서 실제 사고가 나서 이제 사망하는 경우가 있었거든요. 예.
I totally agree with your idea and the feeling because 3 weeks ago I personally went to Ulsan for any other events and I saw and I was surprised. Is this Ulsan? Ulsan is very famous for the richest city and very productive city, but in the sense of safety, the road safety is not that guaranteed, not secured.
Absolutely. And our camera recorded the accident, and probably we shared with the local authorities, and now the local authorities, based on that accident and this record of the accident, are changing now the rules with lights, traffic lights. So you see, it's a case of safety for me, for you, for all, because here we inform for all. Absolutely. I am also very much. And each time that we have celebrations, we forbid anyone to drive his or her car. Taking taxis paid by the company is compulsory, or stay overnight depending, and let's say prohibiting strong spirits.
What is strong spirits? Alcohol.
Yeah, strong spirits, people avoiding that people, if we have a party, drink something else than beer, for instance. Avoiding that people drink some whiskey or a very strong vodka or spirits with 40%, which will ruin your, let's say, your health and be very dangerous. So we are always reminding people about this. And I said that we plan next year to have some with HR, Mr. Su Jingpa. We already agreed that we should have a health campaign focusing on anti-smoking campaign and non-drinking campaigns with doctors informing about the dangers. Alcoholism is one of the main reasons of car accidents in France and in Europe, with people being too tired and falling asleep at the driving wheel. But we have taken a lot of measures, and this is... Even the next morning. Absolutely, you have a point.
Next morning, yeah.
Absolutely, I think you need 5 or 6 hours for being totally sober again. So if you have a very short night, you go back, those people go back home 1 or 2 in the morning, they have to wake up early, they drive to their work, and they can kill people being still drunk at the driving wheel. Absolutely. In France, we had a campaign some years ago saying, the children, you have to teach the parents.
Yeah, good idea.
Because at school, they get the news, when you see your dad mad on the driving wheel, driving like crazy, remember what you learned at school, what you were taught at school. You should say to Dad, Dad, I don't like that. We learn at school, it's not good, it's dangerous. So save our life, your life, my life. Don't do that. It was a very efficient campaign. Because when it comes from your children, that suddenly says, at school I was told you should not drive like this, Dad. Maybe we will have a cultural problem. In Europe, children can speak like that to their parents. In Korea, with the respect, I don't know, but it worked very well in Europe, in France.
We had an event with your volunteers of your company, and during that session, we learned some slogan and some kind of the motion from Mr. Yu.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah, this is total new slogan for safety commitment. And as we are a joint venture, we thought that it was good also to adapt this in Korea. So STLC's new motto or slogan is safety for me, for you, for all. And each time we have big meetings, we do this for me, for you, for all gesture, which is very simple, but which sums up very much the situation. You are the first to be responsible for your own safety. So, some years ago, we had another good idea at Total. We had something to open. It was written, "Who is responsible for your safety?" Every employee got this. You opened it, you had a mirror. So for me, you are responsible for your safety, and then don't be selfish. If you see something on the road, you drive your car, you see a problem on the road, you had no problem. Think of the others in the back. Inform the police. There is something laying on the road, some parcels, some oil, some leakages. Inform. And we are all on the same boat, you know. This is the safety of everyone. It's a question of education. So that's for me, that's for you, that's for all. And this is why I think it's a good slogan with a very simple gesture. And it helps us. It helps very much mobilizing the energies at the STLC. People like it, I think, at the plant, and because it's international, you know. As long as you have gestures, you can adapt. And when we have meetings at the plant, people say it in Korean, which is very long, by the way, and complicated, but they say.
So now you are. And do you know the Angelize campaign, right?
Sure, I participated to sessions already.
Yes, we put some English contents. As you know, the rear camera and monitor and sensor and warning device and education. So, as the CEO of STLC, how you evaluate the value of the Angelize campaign?
I think is I just said that for Total and for STLC as a joint venture, safety is the absolute priority. And so we said safety first. Then we have to look at what are the population which are at most at risk. And this is children, clearly. So we have to protect children. And we have to protect children on the roads and in their, let's say, daily environment, which is school environment, kindergarten environment and school environment, which is an area where we see a lot of movement, a lot of children running, entering, going out. So it's a specific area of danger. So on the top of that, we just mentioned before the importance of education. If we want to have in the future a safer world, we should start educating children now.
Right.
Now we are preparing the safety standards of tomorrow by educating children now. So I think that considering our focus on HSC, the importance of children as a very vulnerable population, and the fact that safety action should not be short-term, but should be long-term, education plays a very big role. So this campaign and this organization covers very well what is among the key areas of interest and concerns for a company like STLC.
And thanks to your help and STLC, the institute principals and the teachers are very thank you, because this campaign includes those devices.
Yes.
So the parents and even the children, they can go into the institute with very comfort mind, comfort feelings.
That's very
And
good.
the school bus drivers, they really appreciate your help as well.
Yeah, that's great. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
Actually,
No, but what I want to say to parents and to children is that safety is absolutely a core value which should be shared by parents and children. the safety of children is absolutely something which should be cherished by the families and by the parents. We have to take all the measures to protect our children. This is our future, and as such, education starts each morning before your children go to school. When they come back from the school, that you debrief the day, what happened, dangers on the roads, on the way home. It's very important that you have a very close communication, and that also as parents you set good examples, driving safely on the roads, holding the hands of your children, respecting the traffic lights, showing the areas of hazards on the roads to your children, in order that Korea becomes more and more safe in the future.